Perfect. I mean, it's definitely there. Feel free to jump in and grab that. That is my cell number. Feel free to call me, text me, whatever, however I can help you. And if I'm not your agency consultant, aka I'm not in the area of the country that you're in, I can get you in touch with the right people, but feel free to reach out. All right, a little bit about PSTrax. So PSTrax was founded in 2009, had about a 60% year-over-year growth. We're privately held. What does that mean? Well, the same people that started PSTrax still show up at the office every day. They're dedicated to supporting the fire service. There's a true passion within the company to help make things easier and better for the fire service. Now, that being said, we also support EMS and law enforcement. So just so you know, PSTrax stands for Public Safety Tracking System. Fire is our primary focus, but we adapt very well at EMS and law enforcement agencies. We have over 870 agencies. I think we're bumping up right next to 900, if not at 900 agencies currently using PSTrax. We're in 4 countries now, by the way: United States, Canada, Australia, and Germany. And I was just talking with Liz, I'm also working with an airport in China and an Air Force base in Japan. So we may be sitting at 6 or 7 countries here pretty soon. We have a 98.5% customer retention ratio. And of course, the different department types we work with is all of them: paid, combination, volunteer, doesn't matter. We've had over 300 million checks logged in our system, over 300,000 alerts sent, and over 60,000 individual users using our system one time. You can tell by the map, we're not quite everywhere, but we are working to get there. So why PSTrax? What's the challenge? Well, you guys know in the industry, you're always being asked to do more with less. You need to operate more efficiently, increase compliance. State and federal is just, it's a never ending battle. And no two agencies, no two departments do things exactly the same. That's just the nature of the beast. Believe it or not, 80% of the departments out there still do things on paper. And of course, with paper, that makes reports and tracking things next to impossible. It's tedious at best. Limited records, documentation, unique apparatus, equipment inventories, all those things. There's no time to build and manage an automated system. It's just, even if you've got tech smart people in your department, it's hard to build something homegrown and manage it and maintain it. That's where PSTrax comes in. So what do you get with PSTrax? Some key features. First of all, what you're looking at on the screen is what our system looks like on a smart device. Guess what looks the same on a laptop, a desktop, a tablet? It does not matter. Some key features: we are an all-in-one solution when it comes to managing apparatus, equipment, and inventory checks, all in one place. We are custom built. I like to describe us as a turnkey solution and a one-off shop. What do I mean by that? Unlike other software that you've experienced or will experience out there, we build the system for you. So we build you a system, but we don't just build you a system, we custom build it for you. Every single build in our system is custom and unique to each individual agency. Our system's designed and built primarily for fire and EMS crews. Well, what does that mean? Well, you guys know as well as I do, you need it quick, efficient, and easy to use, but let's be honest, it needs to be real easy to use, or the crews won't use it. That's just the nature of the beast. With our system, it is so easy to use, even your technology resistant people. I like to call them the flip phone guys, and you know who they are. Your flip phone guys can use our system. They can't use it on a flip phone, but they can use our system. It's just that intuitive, that easy to use. Not only do you need easy for the crews to use, you need it easy to get your information back out. And we've done that. Complete data, easy reporting, powerful dashboards. It's as easy to get the info out as it is to put it in. Now, one of the primary reasons people come to PSTrax, one of their biggest pain points, is the ability to track issues. With our system, tracking issues is super easy. You can send real-time notifications to the right people or person when an issue arises or identified. What we're talking about is alerts. So an example, if I'm checking out this engine today and I find something wrong, I'm able to set an alert. An alert is an email, a text, or both to the right person or people, letting them know I found a problem. It then locks that alert to that vehicle, and more specifically locks that alert to that checklist item, so that the next person coming behind me checking that vehicle out or checking that piece of equipment doesn't report the exact same problem, because it's easy to see. Oh, Todd's already wrote this up. Oh, hey, they've already got parts on order. Oh, wow, it's getting fixed on Friday. It's easy to see where it's at in the repair process as you go through. We're web-based, cloud-based. What does that mean? We can be used on any device, and we're not operating system or browser dependent, meaning It doesn't matter if you're a Windows person, Android, Apple, doesn't matter. Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, doesn't matter. Our system works and looks the same across all. We do work with barcode scanning. We do not provide barcode scanning software or hardware, but we do work with all the typical barcode scanning software out there. So if you want to be able to do barcode scanning, we can work with that. And then finally, and most importantly, you own your data. We store it securely in the cloud for you, but it's your data start to finish. How are we doing on questions, Liz?
Real good. Keep her going.
Okay. So when you become a PSTrax customer, you've got a job, we've got a job. Your job's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Send us your data and documentation. This can be the paper spreadsheets or paper check sheets or spreadsheets or Access database or Word doc or whatever you're currently using. But you send us what you're currently using. We're going to use that to build your system. That's it. Sit back, relax. We'll take it from there. We're going to guarantee you a successful rollout. We've been doing this a while. We know what we're doing. You're not going to have that overwhelming project where you're sitting there for hours, days, weeks, months, typing information in and building your account. We do all that heavy lifting for you. We are considered a sole source provider when it comes to asset management, can even give you a letter as such. That sometimes helps on the purchasing side of things. What are we going to do? Our job's pretty straightforward as well. First thing, we're going to assign a project manager. You're going to have a dedicated person walking you through the process every step of the way. And oh, by the way, they're right here in the good old United States and speak perfect English. I know that's important nowadays. But we're going to then take your data, format it, load it into the system. We're going to work with you to custom configure it, set it up the way you need it set up. We're going to train you and your agency on how to use the system. We're going to help you roll it out to your members. And then finally, something else that sets us apart, ongoing changes. With PSTrax, you're not just buying software, you're buying software with a service. We provide every one of our customers unlimited ongoing customer service at no additional charge. And somebody just asked me yesterday, is that end after a year? There is no time frame. As long as you're a PSTrax customer, you're going to receive that unlimited customer service. And an example of, for example, we're talking SCBA today. Let's say a year from now, you buy 50 new air packs. When you have your account, you have full control over it. You can do anything to it that we can, add to it, delete, make changes. You have full control. But let's say you don't have time to add those 50 air packs to your account. You can send that information to us and we will add those 50 air packs to your account for you at no additional cost. That's what we mean by unlimited ongoing customer service. We're here to help you manage and maintain your account when you don't have time or you need help with it. What do you get with PSTrax? Well, regardless of which module or modules you decide to purchase, included across the entire system. Unlimited checks and checklists on any scheduled frequency, unlimited users, our alert system, which again, text, email, or both on what issues need to be addressed. The journal, it's like a digital whiteboard. The ability to log, the ability to track things like inspections, repairs, status, location, cleanings, test results, repair and cost. It is a complete purchase to retirement history for absolutely everything you're tracking in PSTrax. Now, guys, I'm going to run through the next several slides pretty quick so we can jump into the system. The next several slides talk about the 7 modules we offer. Again, we're focusing today on SCBA, but just so you know what we have to offer. Our flagship module, it's our vehicles module. First thing that PSTrax ever created back in 2009, and honestly, the reason we exist. We can be that subject matter expert for you. If you're not sure if your current checklists meet NFPA 1911 or OSHA or Department of Transportation or any other regulatory requirements, we can be that department, or we can be that subject matter expert for you. Start with a checklist that meets those regulatory requirements, tweak it to be department specific. If you're happy with what you currently have, we can recreate those in our system. Again, we're going to build what you need us to build for you. It includes everything that rolls on the vehicle. And how do we price it? We price it based on purchased and free. You can see examples there. If you need to have more exact pricing, again, reach out to us. We'll definitely get with you on pricing and get you a quote built. We have 3 equipment modules. We have the SCBA module, what we're focusing on today. We have the PPE module, and we have a critical assets module. Think of the critical assets module. It's everything that's not PPE or SCBA. So ladders, hose, radios, computers, pagers, you name it, you want to track it. Critical assets, the way you track it, unless, of course, it's PPE or SCBA. Again, we can be a subject matter expert for you. Started with NFPA compliant checklist for these items, or whatever you need us to create. Now, why do we break our equipment module into thirds? We do it for two reasons. First of all, you guys already know SCBA, PPE, unique equipment has unique requirements, makes it easy to track those unique requirements. The other reason, we're an a la carte software company. You do not have to buy our full suite of products just to be able to track SCBA. If SCBA is all you need and all you want to track, you can purchase just the SCBA module. So that's that's the two reasons we have it broken apart. Now, even though I've already talked about purchase to retirement tracking, I always get these questions, and this is important when it comes to equipment. Expiration dates, that's a big deal. Shelf life, things like that with our equipment. So I always like to highlight, with our system, you can easily track expiration dates and get alerts or heads up. Hey, you've got hose testing coming up. Hey, this bunker gear is going to expire. You can track that. Or funding sources. If you get grant funded equipment, you already know documentation and record keeping is a big part of getting grant funded equipment. We make it easy to track all your grant funded equipment based on its purchase or funding source. And then of course, purchase and maintenance tracking cost. Every single penny you spend on a piece of equipment is tracked in PSTrax. So you can easily see when it's time to maybe buy new versus spending more money on a limit. How do we price our equipment modules? It's priced by the number of stations you have. If you're a single station agency, that's real simple math. We have a station module, makes it easy to track things like building maintenance. We know nobody ever drives a truck into an overhead door. That never happens, right? That happens way too often. But if it does happen, or if you have plumbing issues, electrical issues, HVAC issues, or anything like that, facility maintenance makes it easy to track it within our station module. You track your facility and safety inspections, chore schedules. This is what people really love about our station module, is our chore schedules. If you have specific duties or details that need to be done on a certain day of the week or a certain day of the month, chore schedules makes it easy to see what needs to be done, who did it get done, how long did it take, and so on. And then also included with our station module is a very basic consumable supply quantity tracker. What I mean by very basic, it allows you to track consumable supplies on hand. Excuse me. So very basic, not super easy to get deep in the weeds with your consumable supplies. Makes it easy to report your facility issues, manage workflow process, and then how do we price it? It's also priced by your station count. If you need to track your consumable supplies to a more granular degree, that's what our inventory module is for. Inventory module allows you to manage consumable supplies and inventories, and not just fire inventory or station supplies. It can be repair parts. It can be your EMS supplies, office supplies, clean supplies, anything you do deem consumable, easy to track in the inventory module. That makes it easy to manage them by what we call locations or containers. Simple to see what you have in the main warehouse, supply rooms or closets at the stations, bags on the rigs, track advanced items that have lot numbers and expiration dates, document incident supply usage. What people love about our inventory module is the ability to set minimum and maximum par levels. And anytime you drop below that minimum par level, our system automatically generates an alert, that email, text, or both, sends it to your logistics or supply person saying, hey, you need to order more of this. How do we price this? Again, it's based on your station count. And then finally, our last module is our controlled substance module. This makes tracking narcotics super easy, automates narcotic handoffs among medics. Know that we're DEA compliant with this. So if you're in the drug business, legally, of course, we make it easy for you to track. You can track vial movements from purchase all the way through usage or expiration. You can track narcotics based on location, control number, lot number, expiration date. We have electronic signature capture, can even add PIN numbers for dual authentication or another level of security. And the way we price the controlled substance model is by your controlled substance containers, your drug boxes, your vaults or safes, the locations where you have narcotics stored. That's how we price it. My final slide, and then we'll jump into the system, is our specialty solution partners ecosystem. We know that everybody's out there, especially if you're still on paper, trying to build that electronic records management puzzle. And even though we do asset management better than anyone else, we understand that we are just one piece in that puzzle. So in an effort to help you find a solution to your problems, we've partnered with other software companies to try to give you a best in breed solution. So for example, if you're looking for scheduling or incident command solutions, we've partnered with a company called Battalion 3 Technologies, or BAT3. The PCR and RMS that we've partnered with, emergency networking, makes it easy to track your incident reports, training, things like that. If you're looking for alarm notification, whether it be app-based push notification or actual strobes and sirens in the station, Chief 360's got you covered with alarm notification. For pre-fire planning, GIS, or auto vehicle location, Responder 360, they can turn any mobile data terminal or mobile device into a mobile data terminal where you can make educated decisions on what to do on a tactical situation, because you can see all your rigs in real time. For train certification tracking, we've partnered with CareerCert. And then finally, for digital dashboards, those TV screens in the stations that can show you dispatch information, road closures, weather information, we've got a very robust interface with first arriving. You can also see vehicle and station status within their digital dashboards. Now, the way this ecosystem works, this is a referral program. If you're interested and want to know any more or more information about any one of these companies, if you'll allow us to make an introduction, refer you over to them, they'll show you their system, give you pricing, even set you up with a trial, and we get credit for referring you. So with that, I am done with the slideshow. Do we have any questions, Liz, before I jump into the system?
Nope. Carry on.
All right. So just like I told you all, PSTrax is web-based, cloud-based. So it's a web address, and then every member of your organization and even people outside your organization can have a username and password. Again, we do not charge by the number of users. And you're thinking, well, who outside my organization would want access to this? Well, how about the guy that's going to do your SCBA testing? You could actually, that company that you hire, you could give them access to your SCBA module, and they could actually document, make notes to records, upload reports, things like that, and work with you directly in your PSTrax systems. Because we don't charge for users, that costs you absolutely nothing. If they want to work in your system, that's a win-win for everybody. Now, again, normally we focus on, or twice a month, we do 2 webinars. The very first webinar is a generalized webinar. We try to cover as much of the system as we can. Today's is a focus webinar, and it's over the SCBA module. But before I jump into that, I want to kind of give you a lay of the land, what you're looking at, so you know what's on the screen right now. So when you log into PSTrax, you're going to land on a dashboard. These dashboards can be station specific. What I mean by that is, for example, this demo account we have built is like PSTrax is a 4-station career fire department. And when I log in, I'm set up as a battalion chief over Station 4. I automatically land on a Station 4 specific dashboard. What that means is here under my scheduled or my check section, I can see everything that I'm responsible for, mine and my personnel's PPE, my apparatus, my station, my SCBA, my assets. Everything I'm responsible for is right here on my dashboard under my schedule. Excuse me. And I apologize for the coughing. I was recently sick. I'm getting over it, but feeling much better, but I apologize for that. I can change my station. What that's for is, so let's say I've got to go up to Station 1 and ride out for the assistant chief for the day, or I can look at our maintenance shop, see which equipment or apparatus I have out of service. I can look at headquarters. But notice I can't see Station 2 and 3. We do that on purpose in our demo account for a reason, but it helps me illustrate some for you. The reason we do this, each sales rep has their own station. It's how we keep from interfering with each other while we're doing demos at the same time. What does it illustrate for you? You can control what people can see and do within the system. So you have full control over what they can see as far as stations, modules. You have full control over what people can see and do within the system. Your agency logo replaces the PSTrax logo. Your agency logo becomes your home button, brings you back to the main dashboard. Going down the left-hand side of the screen, this is your admin console. This is where administrators can get deeper in the weeds, make tweaks or changes to the system, or go into logs and reports where you can pull information out of the system. Super easy to navigate the admin console. You'll notice we have it broken up by the different modules we offer. The dashboard itself is broken into 3 sections. You've got the schedule to check section. We've already kind of touched on that. We'll go a little deeper here in a minute with the SCBA. But your middle section is your alerts. These are all the identified issues throughout your agency. Right now, we're looking at vehicle and station alerts. More specifically, I'm seeing Station 4 vehicle and station alerts. So you can see I've got my engine, my ambulance, even my station. And again, what I love about the alert system is the ability to see where something's at as it goes through the repair process. Here's an example. Steering wheel wouldn't move on engine 4. We called the shop out. We got parts on back order. So now I can easily see why it's still sitting there, not being used, why it's out of service. and when it went out of service based on this information here. I can switch and I can look at PPE alerts. I can look at SCBA alerts. We'll dive a little deeper into that here in a second. Assets, inventory, controlled substance. You have a button up here for each one of the modules. You'll only have buttons here for modules that you actually have. The third section is the journal. The journal is like a digital whiteboard. Great place to post messages that you want to make people aware of. And when you post those messages, you're posting them on or based on a category. These categories are customized to your agency. But an example might be, maybe you want to do a training notification. And when you do, you can even pick what date and time does this get posted in the system. Let's say you want this to post this coming Saturday, Saturday the 1st, and you can even pick what time on Saturday it gets posted. And let's just say that this Saturday posting is going to let everybody know about training that's going to be available the week of the 10th through the 14th. We pick our date and time, we start to put our training notification in there. Let's also say you've got a document you need everybody to print out, fill out, bring to training and get credit. You can attach that document here in the post and everybody will have access to it from the journal over here. You can have this post go to a specific station or the entire department. You can have it remain up there indefinitely, come down after a set amount of time. You can even build templates in here. If you post the same information on a regular basis and only a few things change, you can actually build a template in here, and that way all you have to change is those few things. Cool thing about the journal, comes included with every account, regardless of module or modules you decide to purchase. All right, so that's a good lay of the land. Hopefully everybody has a good feel on what you're looking at. What we're going to do now is we're going to focus from the user's perspective, how you would log something in PSTrax dealing with SCBA. So if I come down here to my engine 4, for example, you notice I've got 12 SCBA checks. These are scheduled checks. These are for the SCBAs and the cylinders that I have on engine 4. If I go to click on, that's going to take me into my list. I've already done one check today. I've already checked out. I've got 4 positions, position A, B, C, and D, but I've already checked out position D today. I've got 4 cylinders and I've got a rip pack and a cylinder. And we know that SCBAs can move around. They have the tendency to do that. Maybe the cylinders more so than the packs. So the way we've built this, for example, it's showing me position A, pack 401 and cylinder 17. What it's showing me here is this is what was logged in position A the last time there was a check of position A. This could have been yesterday, this could have been last week, could have been last month, but it shows me what was logged there last. If that's not what I'm dealing with, it's a simple drop down and select to pick the right pack and or the right cylinder. Let's just say that I have 401, but I have cylinder 19. Once I've got the right pack and cylinder, then I'm able to go in and I can start to do a function test. This is an NFPA compliant function test of my SCBA. And we can do a check all. Guess what? We can disable that. If you want people to actually check each individual item, we can set it up that way as well. Again, we're going to build it the way you want it. But let's say, okay, we're going to do check all, but also let's say, you know what? The batteries are dead. So we're going to set an alert. And what's going on here? Batteries. Let's see if I can spell right. Are dead. And then I can come down. I can add additional notes down here. I can mark this item failed inspection, but leave it logged there or open so we can log another pack in its position. I can even add an attachment here. If there's something broken, or maybe I want to take a short little video showing how something's functioning and not functioning correctly, I can add that here so that my SCBA guy who's going to get this alert knows that what's going on with 401. They've got all the information that I've been able to give to them. We also can do the same with the cylinder. So I've got it tied to cylinder 19 as well for this. Let's say that the cylinder is there, everything is working, it's undamaged, but let's say that the cylinder pressure was low. Let's say it was only 4,000 PSI. And then I can also, why did it do that? That's interesting. Oh, probably because I put PSI. Let's just put 4,000. And I'm going to put down here, cylinder was low, topped off to 4,500 PSI. And now I'm going to log my checks. It's now logging everything that I said was good, and it brings me to my alert screen. This is automatically built. We build it on the back side. So you're going to tell us who needs to be notified when there's an SCBA issue, who's going to get that email, that text, or both. Again, I've got another opportunity here where I can attach some files. If maybe I forgot to take a picture or a video, when I set the alert, I can add it here. If this is a urgent issue, which means it's put the pack out of service for whatever reason, I can mark it urgent. You'll notice the information that is automatically brought over from the checklist. And here's my comments: batteries are dead. I automatically get an alert. And then we've got this set up. Our two SCBA guys here is Corey and Ron Burgundy, of course. Now I could include, we've got it built here. These are required. We've also got some recommendations. Maybe I need the vendor who's going to maybe do the repairs. I need to notify them. This is set as a recommendation, meaning they don't get the notification every single time like required does. They're a recommendation. They get the notification whenever we set that we want them to know as well. I can also add other people from our agency, other vendors, anyone else that I think may need to know. Maybe I want to let Joe firefighter know because, you know, Joe's new to the SCBA. Whoa, I don't know what's doing that. But no, Joe's new to the SCBA team, and we haven't programmed him as required yet. I now set my alert, and it logs that that's been documented, right? And you'll notice that my daily or routine check for SCBA position A is going away. I've still got B and C and all my spare cylinders. If I jump back to my home screen, you'll notice that I've dropped down to 10 SCBA checks. This goes to 0 when all your checks for the day or whatever time frame, scheduled time frame you have. When this goes to 0, your checks are all done. I can also pop out just so you guys can see what that email looks like. I dragged the email over. Here is the email. I set one earlier this morning, but here is the one for today for engine 4. Batteries are dead, posted by me, and here's the pack 401, one I just did. I think, let me expand that. Oh, yep, this is the other thing I like. And here's the distribution list, everybody that got notified. Cool. Any questions so far, Liz?
I think you're doing too good of a job at explaining everything, Mr. Lambert.
Okay, well, that's the idea. That is definitely.
It's a silent crowd so far, but I think we'll probably get some here pretty soon.
Yep. So those are scheduled checks. We also have as needed checks. As needed checks can be, for example, your SCBA. Let's say that pack 401 got repaired. And so now I can go in and I can do another check of it just to validate. And you'll notice that position A and position B are showing up here again. So that's one way we can set it up, that once a pack is fixed, we can go back and do another check of it. If you don't have our vehicles module, you won't see your checks scheduled here. You'll see them down here under an SCBA card. Here's an example, 27 items due. These are all scheduled checks. And now it's showing me things that are unassigned, things that are assigned by a person or a location. But now I can go in and I can do a routine compliance check or a flow tech, or you get the idea. Your scheduled checks can still be built in there, even if you don't have our vehicle module. And you can go in and conduct your SCBA checks as needed. You'll also notice the 2 alerts that I set from this morning are here. These are all of the SCBA alerts across the entire agency right here at your fingertips. So super easy to see that. We can also do air fills. And for example, I just said that cylinder 19 needed air, right? Well, let's go ahead and do an air fill, and I can do it from here. Let me show you both ways. So I can do it from here. I can easily find cylinder 19, or if I come down here, back to my SCBA card, I've got a quick little button that says log air fill. Guess where it brings me to? My cylinder list. It looks very familiar. It brings me back to the exact same place. Again, if I type in 19 here, there's my cylinder 19. I can go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to log an air fill. It automatically selects my vent. Where did I fill it from? Again, these are custom built to your agency. If you have multiple cascade systems or a mobile cascade system, where did it get filled from? Beginning SCBA or PSI, where we want to take it to, 4,500. You know, any notes that I want to add, even an attachment, if I need to take a picture or a video or anything, I can add an attachment here, and I can now log my air flow. Now, some of you may not be logging your air fills. And I've had a couple people ask me, well, why do you need to log an air fill? Well, once you have a contamination in your cascade system, you'll know why you log your air fills. because if you log every time you've topped off a bottle and then you find that you've had a contamination, you're able to go back and see between the last air sample test and when you find the contamination, you can say, okay, from this point to this point, all these bottles possibly have some sort of contamination. We need to drain them all down. We need to get this fixed and we need to refill them. Tracking your air fills makes it easy so that you're not putting bad air into cylinders, which then puts bad air into firefighters. Trust me, there's enough hot air in all of us firefighters. We don't need to add any extra. And it looks like we have a question. Is that right, Liz?
Yes, sir, we sure do. Is there a
Is-
place to add in anything on the checks for face pieces, or would that be done in a different module?
Great question. That can all be done in the SCBA module, and I will cover that here in just a second. I think we're pretty close to being done on the user side of things. You guys can, I'm sure, see and hopefully I've made it very clear that from a user's perspective, we make it simple for your users, for your rank and file, to document their checks, to document their airflows and everything else. When you're the SCBA monitor or manager, you're going to be living over here off the admin console under the SCBA dropdown. One of the first places that you're going to live on is the gear list. This is all of your equipment, everything that you're tracking. Let me go ahead and reset this because I think I had this filtered. But you're going to be able to track everything that you're talking about, including air face masks. That question we just had here under my type. Right now, all I've got in here is cylinders, packs, and RIT packs, but I could have high pressure regulators, low pressure regulators, masks, you name whatever you want to track, you're able to track this. Again, we price the SCBA module by the number of stations you have, not by the number of pieces and parts. We don't care if you have 100 items or 100,000 items. So you can track absolutely everything in here. You can even track your mask fit test. If you're documenting your mask fit test, this is a great place to do that. You can do that in here. You can do that in the asset module. There's a couple of different places, but when it's SCBA related, why not do it in the SCBA module? Now, looking at our grid here, if you're still managing your SCBA on some sort of spreadsheet, which most people are, you usually do stuff written down on paper, and then you go and sit in front of the computer and you put it all into a spreadsheet. This layout should look very familiar with probably the same stuff you're tracking, your type of equipment, the ID that you have assigned to it, its serial number, the manufacturer, the model, the size, the cost, the status, whether it's assigned to a user or a rig, description, source, again, grant funded could be tracking, what kind of condition is it in? And then of course, the big deal, dates, manufacturer date, in-service date, expiration date. Notice we've got color coding here. Our system will automatically color code things that have expired, but they will also color code things that are coming up within 6 months. Automatically color codes, red for expired, yellow for within 6 months. We're tracking your hydro dates, what's next due, your next flow, and then also what was logged when, okay? So what date was logged and then who logged it? We get that paper trail here or that breadcrumb. For example, if I'm looking for this cylinder and I can't find it, well, it was just touched a week or so ago. I can reach out to Dave and say, Dave, where the heck's this cylinder? I can't find it. You were the last one to touch it. Something else that's cool about our system, and this is what we call a grid view. This is a common workflow across our system. When you're in our grid views, first of all, we believe set the grid up the way you want it set up. If, for example, last logged was something you want front and center, simply grab it, drag it, drop it, put it wherever you want to, rearrange the grid as you see fit. And when you make those changes, you're only making those changes for yourself and your login. It doesn't change it for everyone else. Each individual person can set this up the way they want to. The other thing we believe in, again, with customization in mind, if there's something unique to your agency that you need to filter or sort by, and each one of these headers up here, we can sort or filter by, but if there's something unique to your agency, we can add up to 3 custom headers here. We can add up to 3 custom, I believe these are called columns. So 3 custom columns that you can then sort or filter by that's unique to your agency. So we can add up to 3, and that's across the system in all of our different equipment modules. We can add those capabilities in the system. Now, like I said, sorting or filtering. Let's say we want to filter by just our packs. So now I've filtered just by packs, and then I can also, do I have any different types? I don't. So I can't even really change by my model because they're all kind of the same. but I can go over here and I can sort, for example, by expiration date. And you'll notice now it's putting my expired at the top, and then based on date, going chronologically down, the ones that are coming up due next. Cool. So that's kind of how our grid view works and how you would manage your track, for example, face masks, things like that. Super easy to see. Now, we talked about in my presentation, tracking every penny that you spend on a piece of equipment. I'm going to go ahead and pop up cylinder 12 here. Again, this is a demo account. This is over exaggerated, but an example of spending money on something that's really a waste of money. For example, cylinder 12 costs $1,160 to buy, but we've now spent $29,778.60. What's wrong with this picture? Somebody got some explaining to do. But it's a prime example of every time we've done something to cylinder 12 that had any kind of cost to it, it automatically gives me a total maintenance cost where I could start to figure out, do we want to spend more money on this lemon piece of equipment, or do we just want to buy new? We could have bought probably 26, 27 cylinders for what we spent to keep this one cylinder in service. Again, it's exaggerated, it's a demo account, but you get the idea. In our details for any piece of equipment you're tracking, and this is not just SCBA, vehicles, PP, anything you track in PSTrax, you can see this kind of detail to include what's scheduled for it. So if we've got something scheduled to take place, it's going to show up here, and all of your documentation can be attached right here. So you can see from the initial purchase order, the owner's manual, all the way through every test, every repair, everything that's ever been done, you have access to it from right here. And because we're web-based, cloud-based, you don't have to go to the station and look through a filing cabinet to find this information. You could be sitting at home in your recliner, and as long as you have internet access and a browser, could pull up this information. You could be on the other side of the country, pull up this information. That's the beautiful part of being cloud-based, is everything is at your fingertips. As long as you've got internet access and a browser, you can get to our system, you can get to your data. We can pull up and see, why is this cylinder cost us so much? We can pull up any kind of date range. I'm just going to pull a couple months and then run a report. And it's specific to this SCBA, so cylinder 12. And it's going to show me since January how many entries we've had, what all have we done. This is where the Jeopardy music should play a little bit. All right, so we've done 16 entries just in that short period of time, but now I've got a report that I can see. It shows me date and time, what was done, was it assigned somewhere or not, what was the status, exactly what was done, any cost if there was any, and who logged it. Once I've got this report that I'm looking for, I can then print it, kick it out to Excel, or make a PDF out of it that I can email. But easy for me to see everything about this cylinder right here specific to this cylinder. Now I want to jump back to the SCBA list. Let's kind of go into the admin side a little bit deeper in the weeds. Now, like I told you guys, we provide unlimited ongoing customer service. We are happy to help you enter information, make edits, make changes, whatever you need. But again, you have full control. Let's say you want to add a new piece of equipment. We're going to go to the settings side of things. We're going to go to PPE, and we're going to add gear. Let's go ahead and add a mask in here. Let's see if we've got masks. There's a face piece. Okay, so we're going to add a face piece in here, and we're going to call him Scott. Most common ones out there, right? And I don't remember, it's been too many years, what the model number would be. So we're just going to call it face piece model 1. And of course, the description. This could be anything, and we're just going to go call it. I know I'm not being very creative here, right? We're going to say it's a medium. Condition is new. The serial number, just going to make up a number here. Internal ID. Then we're going to call this FP1. What did it cost us? I'm again guessing here, $375. Not even sure if that's close. When did it get manufactured? Well, let's say it got manufactured in January of this year. Okay. When did we put in service? Let's say we're putting in service today. Generally, we don't get it put in service the same day it got manufactured. When does it expire? Well, you'll notice it automatically added the time frame for me based on how we have face peaks built. It's based on that shelf life, right? You guys notice that? So it's showing 15 years. I don't know if that's exactly right, but that's what it's showing, is it automatically, based on the manufacture date, calculated the expiration for me. Or is it assigned to? Well, hey, we're going to assign it to me. And then how is it sourced? How was it paid for? We're going to just call it a grant. Let's just call it an SCBA grant, so we know what we got going on here. And then add an attachment. What kind of attachment would we add here? Well, how about the purchase order or the owner's manual or anything else that's, came with this new piece of equipment? And we save it. And now it's in there. Now, that's doing one at a time. We also have the ability, for example, to add multiple. Let's go ahead and click add multiple. And what we're going to do here, what you're going to capture, or the way this helps, is it allows you to capture or put in the things that are the same across the board. So let's do face piece again. Let's do Scott. Okay. The model, what do I call it? Face piece model 1, gear description, face piece. Not even sure if I'm spelling that right. Nope, of course not. I am a fireman. It means I can't spell. Let's say they're all mediums. If they were different sizes, we would leave that blank. If they were different, anything that is not the same across the board for all of these, we leave it blank. Serial number, we're going to leave it blank because it's going to have each individual serial number. Same with internal ID. Source, we can still put SCBA grant. Initial cost, what did I say, $375. Manufacturer's date, that was January. In-service date is today. Expiration. Now, notice the expiration date didn't auto-calculate for us here. This is because we're doing a multiple, and so it changes or adjusts a little bit and allows you to put the expiration date. The nice thing is, we just go in here, we go to January 1st, but we need to do the year, and that was 38, wasn't it? 2038. Again, I don't remember. It's been too long since I've been on the job. I don't remember if 15 years for a face mask is correct. We don't have to worry about last hydro, or we're not going to worry about assignment right now. Once I have everything that is going to be the same for however many masks I'm going to add, I simply then hit add row. And you'll notice it automatically duplicates however many rows. Let's just say I'm going to add these 5. And now I go in and I put in the different serial numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. You guys getting the idea here? And same with the internal ID. And I could have, trying to remember what I put there, FP dash, this would be 2. I could have put FP dash and left it and then just put the numbers in. I think you guys get the idea. And then save. And I've now added all of those masks. If I go to my SCBA gear list, and I now do a filter by face piece, there's all the face piece I just added. And I can go in and I can edit. I can go to each one of these. If I missed something, I can go back and I can edit and add the ID number, or I can assign it to someone. I can change a status, add or remove attachments. You get the idea. But it's super easy to add equipment in here, even if you're doing multiple. And that's something you generally don't see when we do our demos or anything. Again, we've gone a little deeper in the weeds. That being said, we've got about 10 minutes left. So I'd like to leave this last 10 minutes for any kind of specific questions. Haven't seen any other questions, but is there something somebody wants to see I haven't shown, or have any questions that you need answered?
I have 2 questions, Todd.
Okay.
First one is, if you get an entire, I think it's important to note, if you get like a huge shipment of a bunch of new SCBA equipment, part of our customer service is that you can provide us with a spreadsheet list of all of that, and we can load that into the system for you. So if you don't have time to sit and go through what Todd just did, we can help you out and do that. So we're pretty quick turn on those too. So just keep that in mind. And then the other question I have, this is very relevant actually, was my husband just went through his fit test. Can you show by assignment which assigned face pieces have met the fit test, have failed a fit test, or who has completed a fit test? I know sometimes guys aren't always available at the same time. You know, could you talk a little bit about how to do that, or the custom fields you could add?
Sure. So great questions, Liz, and you're right. If you get a bunch of equipment, just like I said, send us the information. We're going to put in the system for you. A couple different ways we could do this. So next due could be your mask fit test, and we could document that when it was done, and it'll automatically calculate for you. We build it in there, but it'll calculate for you when the next one is due. Or just like Liz said, and you know, we could add a custom header here that is specific to fit test. We could have a header here that says fit test, again, shows the date when it was done. We'll calculate for you when the next one is due. If I go in here and I go to log an event for this face mask, I can then go in here and I could have, again, we don't have it built in our demo account here, but I could have a event, because we custom build it for you. We could have an event here that says mask fit test. I select that mask fit test, and let's just call this one, let's just use repair, for example. When we build you a mask fit test instead of a repair, we could actually have a checklist here that is checked off and shows the steps that are taken, what exactly is included in a mask fit test. The date it was done automatically is captured. If you're paying someone to do it, guess what? We can capture the cost. We can capture the information about the person that conducted that for you. And when they do a mask fit test for you, what do? They provide you a paperwork for each one of those masks. That's what we attach here. And then we can log that event. Again, based on the event that's built for you, it can automatically set up not only my logging this got a mask fit test, but it can set it up and say, hey, you're going to be doing another one of these 365 days from now. It's tied to the event when we build it for you. So it calculates all that. And not only does it log that it got done, but it schedules you for a next one and keeps track of that. You get within 90 days, you get within 6 months, our system can remind you based on whatever schedule you're looking for. Hey, you got mass fit test coming up in 90 days. Hey, you got mass fit test coming up in 6 months. It's how you want it built. That's how our system's built for you.
And that leads me to the perfect, Todd. That leads me to this was a leading question, you see. We look at reporting, because then potentially a chief or the equipment officer or whomever is in charge of the masks or SCBA could run a report or a log and say who didn't pass fit, who did, what equipment did this, what didn't, what do we have to replace, what has to go to repair. Can you show the heads or tails of that? Because that's probably one of the more powerful things about PSTrax is not only is it easier to do all these checks, but once you have that data, what do you do with it?
Great question, Liz, and you're right. That is the true power of PSTrax, is the reporting. It wouldn't be a very good system if you could put information in, couldn't get it out. In here, again, when I just went into the SCBA and went to logs and reports, and I pulled up SCBA logs by task, okay? And this is where I can pull the different events, again, custom built to your agency, right? So if I had a mask fit test event, I could pull that up specific. Or if I'm looking at specific equipment, okay, show me everything that's ever been done with face pieces, or a specific task for face pieces, who it's assigned to, who posted it or logged it, what date range do I want? Let's jump back farther than a month. I don't know what I'm going to pull up. Probably nothing, since I just added face pieces in here. Let's actually change that to all so we can get a little data. So we jump back to from September to now. This is going to show me absolutely everything that's been done, every event, every gear type, under SCBA, of course, but every gear type, every task. It's going to pull all that information. I probably shouldn't have pulled such a big date range. It's going to pull a bunch of stuff. Come on. Yep, I picked a deep date range. Okay, it's coming. It's thinking about it. There we go. Now I've got that report that shows me date and time, who logged it, what was logged, the assignment, the equipment type, the description, the serial number, the ID, active, was there a cost? No, we're gonna wait because it gave me everything. So you can see everything is there. I can then start to sort and filter if I need to. Here, for example, let's look at air fills, for example. There's all my air fills. So even if I pull everything, I can still go in and look at things and filter or sort by specific items. I can go in and reset this. There's a lot I can do here. And then again, common theme, I can print, I can kick it out to Excel, or I can PDF. Same with drag and drop. Okay, my report, it can't. I thought it could. I can't drag and drop in this report, but you can turn these headers off. For example, if I don't care about the PF, whatever that is, I can turn that off. And now I've got comments out here. If I turn the task off, now I see my comments. Notice you can adjust or set this grid however you want to based on view. Again, this is a common practice throughout our whole system. But you set it up, whatever you have displayed, whether it be sorted, filtered, view changed, whatever you have displayed, that's what's going to be exported when you print it, kick it out to Excel or PDF. So you have control over what you're getting out of the system the way you want it out of the system. How was that, Liz? Was that what you were wanting to see?
It sure was. And it's important to note too that the delay isn't necessarily on the app. It could be internet connection.
Yep.
The app is pretty quick, especially as you're pulling up different reports. On that side. So
It's probably the internet connection because I live in the sticks in Oklahoma. So, you know, I don't have super fast internet. I have adequate. So, but the other cool thing, a lot of people ask, what's it look like on a smartphone? What am I going to look like? I try to simulate that as best as I can by resizing the screen. That's what you might see on a tablet. Again, your full report is there. If I downsize this a little bit to a smartphone size, our system will automatically resize to whatever device you're on so that you can see the maximum amount. I'll still have a slider for my report down here. But for example, if I wanted to jump back to my home screen, and you notice I clicked on the little hamburger button, my admin console is still there. It's just hidden based on my device. But if I jump back to the main screen, there we go. It's going to show me my schedule. Guess what? Everything else is still there. My alerts, I can swipe. It's all still there. It just, our system auto sizes to whatever device you're on. So if you're on a smartphone, it will size to that. You will be able to continue to do your job. It's not going to be so small that you can't see it or you can't do it.